In previous sessions, we have discussed two things: discover our inner self, as well as we discussed that what is the manual of life. The two things we discussed, right? So in that we saw that how this self, our self, is categorized into two sections. Inner self is something called the soul, which is indestructible and immutable. And then we see there is another self that is called a temporary self, and that is actually called self just because for time being we are attached with that, and that is called this body, which is like we can touch it, we can feel it. So there we saw two types of bodies. One is called gross body, another is called subtle body. A gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. The five things: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then comes subtle body that is made up of three things: mind, intelligence, and false ego. And behind these two bodies, there is the self, the inner self, and that self is called soul, soul, right? So, and what are the things the soul is made up of? The soul is made up of three things once again. What are those three things? Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Means this is eternal. Chit means it is fully cognizant. It is having the potency to know practically everything. And Ananda means it is supposed to always remain happy. Okay. So being soul, everybody, all of us, whoever is present on this Zoom meeting, everybody, all of us are soul. Our prime duty and its prime right, Janma Siddh Adhikar, is to get eternal happiness, to get eternal life, and to get eternal knowledge. So these are our three prime right. So please write down in your notebook, in your mind book, in your heart book, these three places, that these are our prime right, and whether we have accessed that prime right. And this course, Mantra of Life, and the subsequent course which is going to come, Mantra of Life Advance, is also there for us. This is just introductory things. In these four sessions, we have discussed, but the practical application of what we are discussing will be done in Mantra of Life Advance or level 2. So in that you will be given a separate special mentor, and also you will be taught practically how to actually apply these all principles in our own life and day-to-day life. It's very, very practical, and you will be helped. So this is the third session today we are going to discuss. And yesterday, last session, we also discussed what is the manual of life. So we have so many gadgets around. We see for every gadget we purchase from Amazon, Flipkart, or anywhere, we get a manual like this. Like this, I purchased condenser mic, so I got this manual, right? So similarly, for our life also, to live in this world, there must be a manual in which we can get knowledge of practically every aspect of the life itself, as well as the machine, the universal machine in which we are working. So in this way, we understood in the last session that that manual is nothing but Vedas. And Vedas means knowledge, and it is immeasurable. It's unlimited. So Vedic knowledge is unlimited. That's what we saw in the previous sessions. So today I am going to take you to a very, very wonderful journey, a very, very wonderful, adventurous journey to know the real genius of the universe. So if you are there with me to go ahead with this very wonderful journey ahead for next 50-55 minutes, then please write on the chat box ready. Okay, so then we shall proceed ahead. So by the time you write ready, by the time I am just chanting one prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। Okay, so thank you so much. So I'm going to share with you all one small little PPT. So today's session is discover the real genius. Okay, genius. So that is nothing but a person behind everything. Person behind everything. So let's go ahead. Discover the ultimate genius. So in this session, what we are going to discuss, we are going to see and observe the whole world around us scientifically. We can see the hand of supreme intelligent design. So some of you are here. We have a quite few number of you, like Somen, Puranjay, Sunanda Chatterjee, and Banerjee. So today's session is going to be little scientific as well as little with some. Okay, so I just wanted to know that how many of you are from science background, how many of you are from commerce background, how many of you are from arts background. If you are from science background, you can just write down in the chat box that S, just you can write down S. If you are from commerce background, you can write down in the chat box C. If you are from arts background, you can just write down A. So then, yeah, so let us see how many of you are from different backgrounds. So I see some like majority from science background. One of you, Sandeep, is Sunanda Acharji is from arts background, and Vineet Mishra is also commerce background. So our approach will be a little bit moderate. I'll not go too much scientific. Little bit, just so let's proceed ahead. Discover ultimate genius. So yes, so this is what we have seen. So what you'll be seeing here. Okay, thank you. So our observations, scientist observations, $2 million questions, activity time, and our prime duty, and at last the conclusion. So these are the 5 things we are going to see in today's discussion. So let's see by observing the world. So is there any person behind this world? Usually, what people they say that because we are not able to see any designer behind this world. We are not able to see any controller behind this world. We are not able to see any creator behind this world. So this world is without any control, and it's just going ahead like this. So when we talk about controller, creator, maintainer, then automatically what comes in our brain? Oh, are you talking about God? Are you talking about something like God? Oh, God, what is this God? God, nobody believes. God believers are like downgraded people that do not have scientific knowledge. So sometimes, many times people, specifically so-called scientific people, they get into this type of understanding. So now today we are going to see by our common sense, by our observation, that how this world, this cosmos is a harmonious universe. So we get many questions as such, does God really exist? So who creates and maintains this beautiful and harmonious universe? So we will be seeing that how behind every art there is an artist, how behind every organization, beautiful organization, there is an organizer, how behind every creation there is a creator, how behind every design there is a designer, every energy, behind every energy there is energetic, and behind every law there is a lawmaker. So once, what happened, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, he was there in London. And there, what happened, there was one person, he was going with some of his disciples. And in that time, in 1970s, there are so many different and very, very big palatial, what we say, bungalows used to be vacant, because then London was not so much rich as it used to be around some decades before, when the imperial London, the Great Britain broke into pieces. I mean, the what's called the United Kingdom broken into pieces. So there was a lot of poverty there, and so many different big palatial buildings were all vacant. So Srila Prabhupada, he told to his disciples, are you able to see these 2 buildings? one building is such nicely arranged. There are so many wonderful bushes, there are trees, there are gardens, and so nicely they are trimmed, cut nicely, and they look so beautiful. And there is another building, and there is another, bungalow, in which you see there are so many different types of dirty things are there. There are leaves falling down. There is so much of dust out there, and trees are also not, clipped nicely. Their leaves are not so nicely, arranged. So, what you are able to understand by seeing these two bungalows? Can you please tell? Srila Prabhupada asked to his disciples. So some of them answers. So what they answer? So one of them is telling Srila Prabhupada, we can understand that from by seeing this bungalow in which everything is so nicely decorated, there must be someone maintainer behind this. That's why it is maintained. And this bungalow where no one, I think it's not so nicely maintained. I mean, there are leaves falling down. There are bushes has grown so much wildly like this. Anything, it looks like some jungle. So in this bungalow, there is no one. There is no one as maintainer. That's why it is fully disturbed and fully has a party arranged. There is no arrangement at all. So Srila Prabhupada told, yes, you are correct. So when we see this world, such a beautiful world, such an organized world, means there is an organization, there is maintenance happening of this world. So don't you think that there is a maintainer? There could be someone intelligent person behind this such a wonderful maintained universe. So they understood yes, and they told yes, Srila Prabhupada, there must be someone. So we are going to see by our observation today that how behind every art there is an artist. And the first thing, these are very, very famous canvases, famous pictures. The first thing when we see, before that I show you the painter's name, what comes in our brain? What comes in our mind, right? What comes? Can you please tell? Just by seeing these photos, what comes in our mind? What comes? Okay. Anybody can write in the chat box. All of you can write in the chat box. By seeing this photo, what comes in our mind? Okay, Beneath Mishra is saying Mona Lisa. That's correct. Mona Lisa comes in our mind. But after Mona Lisa, immediately another thing comes in our mind. That, yeah, anybody else who want to try? Give a try. Yeah, this is art, of course. This is a great art. Yes. By seeing the art, what comes in our mind? Yes. Yes, creator. Arindam Karmakar is telling creator. Means the artist. So behind art, there is an artist. As soon as we see Mona Lisa, immediately another person comes in our brain. That's called Leonardo da Vinci, right? So they are the famous artists. You can see here, Van Gogh, Thomas Zancais, Henry Rothschild. So they are all great artists, and their paintings are sold like lakhs and lakhs rupees. But who is the artist of this? What we are able to see here, a real live person, a real live scenery. It's not some painting. It's really existing. These sceneries are really existing. And this is another such a wonderful waterfall. And here you see the real, original, fresh, blooming, live rose. Wow. So these are not just paintings. These are the real things. So we saw these paintings, what we saw just previously, were nothing but duplicate, or in one sense, it's like it was like poor presentation of what is actually real and live. So, but when we see these all things, nothing comes in our brain, and we won't much worry about the creator. So, who is the artist behind all of us? Like suppose in our school days, we used to make different types of crafts, like paper crafts, like making roses. So to make a rose out of paper, like what are the things we had to do? What are the things we required actually? So many things we require, right? To make a paper rose, we required so many things, like we required scissors, we required like glues, we required, of course, art paper, and of course it required brain. Even though all these things are there, paper is there, glue is there, scissors are there, but can we make a rose without brain? No. For every mold, for every design, for every color to add, we required brain. And this rose is nothing but a poor imitation of original rose. And how the original rose looks like. Original rose. Like suppose if you have your boyfriend and girlfriend, suppose, I don't know whether we have or not. So if you have someone, your loved one, then you go and you give him or her, who maybe your father, mother also. So which one you like to give? You like to give your hard and, like with a hard labor created a paper rose or a real rose? You can write in the chat box which one you like to give, a real rose or paper rose. If you want to give a real rose, then you can write you can write R, and if you are thinking of giving the paper rose, you can write P. Let us see. Yeah, Arindam is saying real. Yes, correct. I think all of you like to give the real rose, right? Even though you may have created a paper rose, but we'll never go for giving the paper rose to someone. And giving, paper rose won't give any scent, so you put some scent also into that. So it doesn't make much sense. So we can see, when we see this such a wonderful, delicate petals of this real rose, how soft they are, and inside there are such a wonderful smell, wonderful aroma. Our whole day becomes fresh just by getting that aroma out of that real rose. But we never care to think about who could be creator of that real rose. So this is irony. This is the irony of this world. So let us see. So we never think about that. So who could be creator? Who could be the artist behind this great, wonderful arts? So like this, we see there are organizations everywhere. So there are some videos. I'm not going to go with all the videos. Videos will be shared to you in the group. So we see there are different organizations. Sometimes people say that only human beings are having organizations, society. But we see that there are organizations in honeybees also. So we see there are organization of spider web also. Spider web is such a powerful, powerful engineer that without getting any BTech or MTech degree, it creates such a wave that spider itself never get stuck with that wave. Only who get stuck? Someone from outside. And even more heavier insect than spider get caught up into its web, and they cannot get them out. So there are much more wonderful things you can hear and see here.
Compared to their own sizes, spiders build very large webs. Indeed, if we enlarged a spider to the size of a human being, the length of the web it weaves would be approximately 150 meters, which corresponds to a 50-story skyscraper. Is it possible for a human being to weave a lacework the size of a 50-story skyscraper in only an hour? But a tiny spider accomplishes much more than that. Moreover, the spider-woven web is the sturdiest material in the world. How do spiders weave these webs possessing miraculous features? The spider takes into consideration many factors while weaving a web hundreds of times larger than its own size. This task demands at least some calculations essential in constructing a building. For the accomplishment of this work, first the spider must draw a project like an architect, for a construction of this size, design, and sturdiness cannot be accomplished without an architectural project. Once the project is drawn, The spider must calculate the lifting capacity of each part of the web like an engineer, otherwise the web cannot remain suspended. In order to design such a web and make such delicate calculations, the spider must be more qualified than a college graduate. Indeed, there is not a university that provides education to the offspring. Following their birth, they begin to produce silk, weave web.
Yeah, so such a wonderful fact, right? That these spider webs are so intelligent that they are creating waves by these all wonderful calculations. I mean, they don't need to go for calculations. So by their own inbuilt intelligence, they're able to create such a wonderful waves. For that, any BTech or MTech engineer has to do so many different calculations. So one string will be there, another string will be there. So how much difference? So how many times I have to go here? And so the all stuff. So we see behind every organization, there is an organizer. Without organizer, we cannot create any organization. Likewise, we see wonderful things created by men. Like we have such a wonderful car, sleek cars. Someone has manufactured that car, right? Wonderful computers now coming. Someone assembled them, right? Elegant watches, someone has designed them. Architecture marvels, someone has erected them. Skyscraper buildings, someone has built them. Nothing we see in this world which has not built and created by anyone. Like every creation, behind every creation, there is a creator. And so is it not a common sense to ask this question? Should not this universe have a super intelligent creator too? This is a common sense. The creation means there must be creator. Now let's see to the design. So this is a seed, this is a very special seed of sequoia. Sequoia is a very famous tree. So you can find out what is the dimension and measurement of this seed. It could be hardly 1.5 centimeter, right? You're able to see it's around 1.5 centimeter length. And this tree having the information to make the biggest tree of the planet. Biggest tree of the planet. So all that information to create such a big tree, giant sequoia tree is there in small little seed of sequoia that is only of 1.5 centimeter dimension, right? Such a huge tree. You can see what is its dimension in front of this small little boy. He's not a boy, it's a man. Such a huge tree. The world's largest tree is a giant sequoia. It's 84 meters, 270 feet high and 29 meters in diameter at the trunk. The giant tree is packaged in a tiny seed. You see, sequoia tree's trunk is so huge that from inside, one truck or something like van is coming out. But still it is alive and it's standing. That's a great tree. You can see the dimensional, comparative dimensional analysis out here. Space shuttle, giant sequoia, human blue whale, Statue of Liberty. So you can see it's almost of the same height as Statue of Liberty. Such a huge giant sequoia tree. And this all information of construction of this tree is there in a small little seed. Isn't it amazing? So like this, we see in our day-to-day technological advancement, so many things are coming up. So this is the graphic card or something, or maybe memory card designed by Intel. The human brain can store more information than all the libraries in the world. So who has created that? We never think about that. Who has created this human brain? So this is the brainology. You can find some amazing facts you don't know about your brain. Hopefully you are able to hear. So we see this, our brain is so wonderfully working, but we never care about this brain, right? We think everything we have got just by granted. And this is such a wonderful potency, and for everything, like sometimes when it gets little less amount of energy, there is a system of getting more energy into it, just by yawning. 20 to 30,000 of thoughts per minute it comes in our brain. So now we had seen externally. Let's go to micro world. In micro world also, everything is so meticulously designed. Specifically, we see in the DNA molecule of the life, we see there are trillions of cells. Each cell is having 46 human chromosomes and 2 meters of DNAs. So DNA uh, is something called, in which all that is scripts of particular type of protein is mentioned there. So there are different types of proteins, different types of amino acids, which gives all that information on the particular body. So just by having a DNA test, one can understand, a scientist can understand how long that person is going to live, what type of diseases he's going to get in the future, what type of psychophysical nature of that person is. So these all things, all the informations are there in this DNA. Isn't it such amazing? And we never forget, never think about this. We never think about this. There could be someone, intelligent person, intelligent being, who has given this type of such a wonderful system. So I'm just going little ahead, it's going little more scientific. So now let's go to this, to the satellites. So we see modern scientists have created satellites. And to get this satellite running, we have so many critical parameters to see around the clock, like orientation, spin, velocity, Earth satellite distance, heat dissipation, cosmic radiation, and all stuff. And these all things are being monitored by scientists and these all astrologers round the clock, 24/7. They are working 24/7. It's not like just 8 to 8 or 8 to 4, 8 to 5. No, 24/7. One has to really go ahead with this, all the parameters, to keep seeing that. Otherwise, what will happen? Whatever they have sent, that will simply fall down. It will simply fall down. And just recently, some days before, we had this news that a Chinese probe is falling down somewhere, and people were a little bit chaotic. They were very much fearful that it may fall down somewhere on our own head only. So we see such a small satellite, so many people are there into it. But what about Earth? Earth weight is 6 into 10 to the power 21 metric tons. And this Earth is nothing but a satellite of Sun. And how complex this Earth is. The complexity of Earth is in front of complexity of Earth. A small little satellite's complexity is nothing, practically nothing. One of the most complex entity, like human being, has created a small little satellite, and to just keep that rotating, so many scientists are required 24/7 to see. And for Earth, you see, to have a condition in which we can live, we can happily live in this Earth, on this Earth, there are so many different layers. There is atmosphere, there is plasmosphere, there is ozone layer, there is a wall annual radiation belt, which somehow it reflects all that solar flare which is coming from sun. And there is a magnetosheath which reflects all that different types of heavy electromagnetic radiations which are coming from the sun. So we see so much complex our Earth is, and this Earth is rotating such a huge, such a massive speed. You can see 106,000 kilometers per hour, and it's being rotated for how many years? We don't have any number. We don't know that, right? For how many years and years and years together it's rotating like this, and never it happens that, okay, this time it went little slow because there are some decay somewhere. Never. Always we are seeing years are going ahead because of its movement. At the exact particular number of days and months, a particular season will come for sure. So like this, we can see how nicely it's. But only thing is that we are not able to see a person behind this earth being rotated, right? There is no one. We are not able to see. We simply concluded there is no one in control. So who controls the earth? So marvelous designs in the nature we see. So this is a very, very wonderful video for all of you. In this, you can find the fingerprint of Supreme God. It's a very, very scientific and very much promising video. Okay. Okay. Some of this video I'm not able to play. Yeah.
Around 1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better
Okay, just wait. It's working.
Around 1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better known as Fibonacci, discovered a sequence of numbers that created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is obtained by adding the last two digits together. A rectangle with a length and width of any two of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci's sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21, the sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind indicating the one who was there, a fingerprint. As we scan our universe from the tiny flower to the awe-inspiring galaxy, we see the fingerprint of God.
As you know,
Yes. So we see the fingerprint of God everywhere. So this is the Fibonacci series. By adding the previous number, the preceding number which is coming, and in this way, we'll go ahead. There is a Fibonacci series. And by Fibonacci series, everything, so many wonderful things, what we are able to see in the nature, that is actually into Fibonacci series. Even our fingerprint, our thumbnail print, in our fingers, the measurement of our different joints is also in the Fibonacci series. Even the ocean waves which is coming, that is also in Fibonacci series. Even the different galaxies are there also in Fibonacci series. Means sometimes what happens, there is a saying that if thief has come and has somehow went off, but police will come and surely catch the thief, because thief never goes without leaving something, some little bit of some proof that they had come. What we say in Hindi, or surag. So thief always come and keep some surag. Kuch surag chhod ke jaate hain. So Supreme God had created, but he may not be visible to us, but doesn't mean that he has not given his fingerprint. His fingerprint is seen practically in every creation of the world. Like this, there is sun. Sun is the massive, massive, like tremendous oceanic source of energy, and by which the whole universal energy system is actually being run. And continuously it's emitting energy like anything. You can imagine how much amount of energy the sun is emitting. So I'm not going much into this. Sun is, I think, 1.3 million Earth which can enter into the sun, and around 38.6 billion and billion megawatts power it can give. How much? 38.6 billion megawatt power. Wow, amazing. So these are the facts from where is the source of energy. And we can say that there is a nuclear fusion taking place, but how long it can take place? How long hydrogen can convert into helium, and it will not get over. Let's go ahead. Energy emitted by sun per second is called amount of energy consumed by human race throughout the entire history. So it's just 1 second energy which is actually being emitted by sun. In 1 second, our sun produces enough energy to meet the current needs of the entire Earth for 500,000 years. So now let's go ahead. Whenever we see energy, means there must be energetic. It's common sense. Like suppose we are sitting in our room and I have one window, and this is maybe there is a glass window, and from outside one person comes and just throws one. I mean, somehow I get one jerk, or I get one, some pebbles or stone, and immediately the window glass gets broken. Then what first thing will come in our mind? What first thing will come in our mind? Yeah, yes. Can you please tell? What first thing should come in our mind when we get this type of thing? When we are seeing that there is one stone coming, just breaking the window glass and directly coming in front of my system, what first thing will come in your mind? Can you please tell? You can write it in the chat box also. Run. Someone is telling run. Who is telling run? Amyapu is telling run. Arindam is telling who throw it. Okay, yeah. So first thing will come in our mind that who throw it, who thrown it, who has given energy to this stone, right? So immediately we'll see there. Maybe the person may run away, the person will run away, but we are sure that there was some person who has thrown this. It cannot be just like coming from nowhere. So wherever we see energy, there must be energetic also. So now look at the world around you. Everywhere we see there are such a wonderful laws. Like we go to our college, we see the college also made into different laws. College are running into different laws. Like there is a principal, college starts at a particular time, ends at a particular time. For travel, we have some laws. They have traffic laws. Like in India, people they keep left. In USA, people they keep right. So who had made these laws? Of course, we know Indian traffic police has made. Maybe American traffic police had made for USA. Similarly, for cricket also, there are so many laws. Like to play a cricket, there are many laws. So who has created these laws for cricket? International Cricket Council, ICC board. Similarly, all that elements, if you're science students, you could have some little idea about all that elements are actually, assembled and it's arranged in such a wonderful way according to number of protons, number of neutrons there. So we see that it's a periodic table of elements. It cannot be called a periodic chance. By chance somehow or other these elements just came upon. Hydrogen having 1 proton, helium having 2 protons. No. So this is a periodic table. Similarly, we can predict the different laws, the physical laws, law of physics. We can see the law of optics. There is a predefined laws of optics. It's not like sometimes light works like this, sometimes like light works like that, No, everything is well defined. The law of thermodynamics. And we see from micro world to macro world, there is precise law behind everything. So anywhere, wherever we see the law, the first thing what comes in our mind, that is there must be some lawmaker. So physical law, thermodynamics law, different laws. So could not be there also a lawmaker? This is just a question. So somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly, somebody is handsome, somebody is not so handsome, somebody is so rich, stinking rich, somebody is poverty stricken, somebody getting nicely educated and becomes doctor, somebody is not getting so much nicely educated and he becomes simply laborers. So who decides these all things? Like, no, we cannot just say that no, it happened just by chance. No, there must be some law. There must be some law. So what is that law, and who chooses that? No, we can choose something like we can choose education, we can choose job, we can choose husband and wife, or we can choose a car also, right? We can choose apartments, but few things we don't choose. Few things we do not choose. What are the few things? Can you say what are the few things what we won't choose? Yeah. Can you please tell some of you? What are the things we do not choose? Yes. Birth, death. Subrata Sana is saying birth, death, we won't choose. Yes. Amya is telling parents, birth. Somebody is saying tension. Tension, yeah. Tension, of course, we won't choose, but it comes. So some of you are really have told exactly correct answer. So we won't choose parents. No, we won't choose that. No, I'm going to take birth in this family, in this parents' house. No, we won't choose our face shape. We won't choose our intelligence. So who chooses and on what basis? Is it by chance? No, it cannot be. We cannot put our destiny in chance, right? For everything we decide, like which college I'm going to study, which company I'm going to work, no, to whom I'm going to get married. So we choose. But don't you feel that these all things like our face cut, our parents, these are also has to be chosen? Of course, there also has to be chosen. So what is that? There is law. There is law behind these all things. These all things cannot be a random events. There must be some law. Or what is that law? That is the law of karma. That is the law of karma. Srimad Bhagavatam tells, Karmana daiva netrena jantur deho upapatte striya pravishta udram pumso reta kanashriha. According to the karma what accrues, whatever type of karma one has does in his previous lives, a same type of conditions or same types of bodies, same types of intelligence, same types of circumstances he gets into on future life. So there is law of karma also. So behind every law, there is a lawmaker. Now let's go ahead. Scientist observation. What are the scientist observation about Supreme God? This is Albert Einstein who says the Lord God is subtle but malicious he is not. So there are great scientists of the previous century who had this understanding that whatever we are able to understand, no, it is nothing in front of God's power. Like Einstein, the famous Nobel laureate physicist Erwin Schrödinger also has told exactly similar things. I'm very astonished that scientific picture of the real world around me is very deficient. It gives a lot of factual information, puts all our experience in a magnificent, consistent order, but is ghastly silent about all and sundry and is really near to our heart that really matters. To us, it cannot tell us what about red and blue, bitter and sweet, physical pain, physical delight. It knows nothing of beautiful and ugly, good or bad, God and eternity. Science sometimes pretends to answer questions in these domains, but the answers are very often so silly that we're not inclined to take them seriously. So, for everything to measure, we have different machines. To measure everything, we have different machines. But do we have machine to measure beauty? Do we have machines to measure how much pain one gets by different type of situations put in life? How much somebody happy can we measure by some machine? No. What is sweet, what is pungent, this rasgulla is sweet or that bitter gourd is pungent, can we measure? Can we create machine? No. So this is Nobel laureate Schrodinger is telling. So science is perfectly blind about these all things. So similarly, Lord Kelvin says, if you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Similarly, there is a story of Sir Isaac Newton. As Isaac Newton was a first-class theistic scientist. Theistic scientist means he was the damn believer of Supreme God. Once what happened, one of the atheistic friend, he came to his chamber, and there Newton was sitting in his chamber in front of his table. And just one day before, Newton was gifted with one solar system model by one of his friend. And that solar system model was such a nice, wonderful model created by him, created by his friend, that just by rotating one crankshaft, whole solar system was rotating with 9 planets. So when that his atheistic friend comes to his chamber, then he's asked Newton that, oh Newton, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful solar system you have here. So who has gifted you? Can you please tell who has created this? So Newton said that, oh man, come on, cool guy, don't worry about, don't think about these all things. Let's talk something scientific. This was just I opened today morning the door of my chamber. I saw it was there in front of my on my table, just like that. Oh, so his friend started laughing. It was, Newton, are you really serious? Are you not kidding with me? Please tell who has created this model. Please tell. I want to also have one model as such, like this. So Newton started laughing and told us, so you are thinking this is a small little model of the solar system cannot come without creator. So how could you think that there's such a wonderful, wonderful magnanimous universe, which having so many, there could be so many solar system into that, and which has been created by no one? So how great intelligent person you are to conclude that. So in this way, Newton convinced his atheistic friend that there is supreme God. Similarly, Max Born says, I saw it, the atom, the key to the deepest secret of nature, and it revealed to me the greatness of creation and creator. Similarly, Srinivas A. Ramanujan says, an equation for me no meaning unless it represents a thought of God. Like this, there are so many number of scientists. There is a higher power not influenced by our wishes, which finally decides and judges. Werner Heisenberg. This is the person who has given Heisenberg uncertain principle. So Michael Faraday. So these all great scientists have the same only one slogan, that is, there is supreme God behind this wonderful creation. So now there is $2 million question for all of us. What is that $2 million question? Yes. So first question is to all of you, what is the origin of universe? There are 4 options here. Now, please go ahead answering this by writing in the chat box whatever you feel like to be the answer of this question. Yes. Yeah. Please write down the answer of this question. What is the origin of the universe? First option is Big Bang. Second option is Big Band. Third option is intelligent design. And fourth option is chance. Yes. Let's see who gives the answer first. Yes. And you can raise your hand also if you feel like you want to speak. You can speak also. Pritam Nath is saying C. Soman is saying A. C means intelligent design. A means Big Bang. Amir is saying C. Okay. So either A or either C, right? So that will be cleared in the subsequent slides going to come ahead. So we will see that Big Bang, but answer is intelligent design, okay? But we'll see how. Okay, so the next question was, what is the purpose of this world? बोलते हैं ना, हिंदी में बोलते हैं दुनिया बनाने वाले काहे को दुनिया बनाई. In Hindi there is a Bollywood song that why this world has been created at first hand. Why this world has been created? Just to get take birth, go ahead, get into college, get into schools, get into job, get married, do works, do some hard work for some years, and after that get old, and one day boom, Falana Babu didn't get up. Now he's going to graveyard. So is this the purpose of this world? Is this the purpose? Just take birth and die, and there is something. So of course the right answer is in front of you to understand God and life, but how it is so we shall be seeing. I see some of the chats here. Let's see one of that. Okay, let's go ahead. So these are very important questions. It's called $1 million questions, and you'll get $1 million of values when you really understand this. So nothing in this world has come by chance. Any machine you find in your life, nothing has come just by a chance. Everything, behind everything there is a brain. Everything has come by great toil and by influence of some brain. So behind everything there is a maker, a designer. Logically, the far more complex and awesome universe must have a super intelligent designer and producer as well. So we are going to see a very wonderful thing. What's on Big Bang Theory? What is this Big Bang Theory? Usually people, they have this word so many times bombarded upon their brain that they understand Big Bang is something by which the universe is created. That's it. But really they do not know. We do not know what is actually Big Bang Theory. So this is the definition of Big Bang Theory. This is definition not made by us, not made by me, Nita Chandra Das, but this is a theory of Big Bang. I think some of you know, according to Big Bang Theory, everything began from a point of infinite temperature, infinite density, infinitesimal size that is physically indescribable, mathematically unverifiable, beyond all conceptions of space and time. Wow, such a wonderful theory. So this is a Big Bang Theory in which it is told that there was a small little point, and that point having no dimension, and that was infinite density, having infinite temperature. Infinite, when it comes, infinite means you don't know the figure. Infinite could be anything, right? And mathematically unverifiable, beyond all concept. You cannot concept it. You cannot concept it because there was no space then. There was no time then. You cannot concept it. So there is no space and there is no time. So ultimately, it means that there is no point as such. And this all is big air. Hawa hai, hawa. Hawa chhod diya. So this Big Bang Theory is a big air. And ultimately, Encyclopedia Britannica tells that it should be emphasized that no theory. Of course, this is a theory. Theory means it could not be true. So till now, no theory of the origin of solar system has yet won general acceptance. Those all theories involve highly improbable assumptions. These all things are assumptions only. But we have been taught in our schools, in our textbooks, that our universe has been created by Big Bang. Big Bang. And our small brain could not take small data, but takes this Big Bang to be really very heavy one. And very much impressive concept by which we can understand that yes, universe has been created like this. So there is no Big Bang behind creation of this such a wonderful, maintained, wonderful, organized structure as universe. There is a big brain behind this. So now let's go ahead. What should be, so there's small little activity time for all of us. So we can find here very intelligently that how wonderful this universe is. For everything what we have, we should be grateful to. Now we are going to have a comparison between government of our country and a universal government. Now, please get into some, homework. I mean, some working mode. So I'm going to ask some questions also to you. So we have in our government different ministry like Home Ministry, Health Ministry, Ministry of Energy, Finance Ministry, Defense Ministry, Education Ministry. Similarly, we find in our universe also, these all things are being given free of cost by universal government. Like Home Ministry means what? If you break law, beta, you will die. You will have to suffer. So this is called law and order, Home Ministry. If you break law, you will get punishment. Similarly, if we have universal government also have some law. Like if you do some illicit sex beyond marriage, then you get AIDS. You do more smoking, you get lungs cancer. You get some bronchitis and all this stuff. You can never find someone, oh, he told, I smoke so much, my lungs, all the problems gets over. I know everything, my lungs got cleared. You don't find this type of cases, right? You never find a accidental case. There was an accidental case. Anyways, one person he smoked so much, he became chain smoker, and his lungs become more clearer, right? It never happened like that. Bad things gives bad results. This is the universal government, isn't it? This means that bad results are coming. Don't do that. If you'll do some activity, somebody shoots someone, or somebody goes and steals something, then immediately what happens? The police comes and puts him into bar. Means this is a lesson to a person not to repeat, not to do the same criminal activity again. So this is the universal government. Similarly, we have for the health ministry, we have Ayurvedic herbs. Now it's upon you. What is the universal government? What could be the universal government entry for Ministry of Energy? Yes, it's upon you now. Kindly please tell. We have few more minutes in which I'll sum up all those things. So now please tell, what could we put in the universal government entry in correspondence with Ministry of Energy? Ministry of Energy, National Ministry of Energy. Yes? Anybody? Yeah? I think you understood the question, all of you. What is the equivalent Ministry of Energy in nature, in universe, with this Ministry of Energy in our national government? Yeah? Anybody of you? Anybody can just give any guess. I'm not going to laugh upon your answer. Ha 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 ha. Such a big blunder mistake. No. You can write anything, whatever you feel like. Yes. Yeah. Anybody of you? Rishabh is writing sun, Ame is writing sun, Krishna is writing sun and air. Yes, that's correct. So sun and air. So Defense Ministry, similarly we have Defense Ministry. Defense Ministry, we have ozone. Finance Ministry have gold, silver, navratnas, diamond, etc. Education Ministry, Vedas, Bible, Quran. So let's go ahead. Lessons from this universal government is that behind every government there is a prime minister. Behind the universal government there is God. As simple as that. Prime Minister maintains and controls the country. God maintains and controls the whole universe. Government law abiders live happily and lawbreakers are punished. So God's law abiders live prosperously and lawbreakers suffer. As simple as that. So here we can find the lesson to live happily in this world. So abide by God's law and live prosperously without having much hustle and much problem. So now we can see that we are not able to see God, but God himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sharvam idam protam shutre mani gana iva. O Arjuna, everything rests upon me. Matta parataram na anyat. There is nothing superior truth than me, O Arjuna. and I am in this world as the string inside the necklace. In necklace, you find only pearls string, but you won't find the inside string. Only pearls you are able to see. Pearls means moti, but inside, which is the factor inside one, that's called thread, which is actually joining and keeping that whole necklace intact. Such a wonderful, organized. That thread is Supreme God. And Krishna is claiming himself that I am that. I'm not able to see, I'm not able to be seen, but I am just like thread inside this whole cosmic universe. It's wonderfully organized. Okay, now this is the prime duty, the last section of our today's discussion. What could be our prime duty of human form of life? So here is the meeting of humans. Okay, humans means with having intellect to think about who are we, what is the purpose of this universe, and what could be our destination in future. So this only humans can conceive, perceive, and search for. So in that way, we should understand our prime duty. So we should use our intelligence to appreciate the great creation of God. This is the first prime duty you must have, to unfold mysteries of God's creation through science to glorify God. Like there are so many great brains had worked just to glorify the Lord, like Einstein, like Jagdish Chandra Basu. Whatever had been enunciated in Veda, they have corroborated with their inventions that yes, whatever Veda has told, that's true. Yes, there is God and how he works in this world. To understand and explain the purpose of Lord's creation, which is to love God and love all. So when we start loving God, then automatically all the problems of the world will get sublimated, gets over. The problem in this world is only because there is a godlessness. There is n number of religions, but there are almost zero number of religions which really tells who is God and how to love God. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that all living entities are my sons. Aham bija pradapita. I am the father of all living entities. And being so, we are all sons and daughters. We all living entities. So how we understand, when we understand that there is Supreme Father, the Universal Father, and then we are universally connected as brothers and sisters, right? So how we can do harm to others? How we can kill someone and enjoy life? Can we kill our brother and sister and we can enjoy life? Never. So the real brotherhood, the real peace, the real renaissance in life and in the world will happen only and only when there will be godness. I mean, God consciousness spread throughout the world. So this should be one of the prime duty to do that and to establish that. So now we are at our end of our today's session. We are going to discuss summary. So we saw in the first section our observations. We saw that how behind every art there is an artist, how behind every organization there is an organizer, how behind every creation there is a creator, behind every design there is a designer, and after every energy there is energetic. There is lawmaker behind every law. Then we saw scientists' observation. Great scientists ultimately concluded after coming to the end of the scientific researches that where science ends, God starts. Yeah, Maxwell has told that. So for the science, God is at last. For the religion, God is at the beginning. But that religion should be true religion, right? So then we saw $2 million questions. Who created the universe and what is the purpose of universe? Then we saw the comparison between national government and the universal government. We saw how systematically this universal government is maintained practically. Without universal government, and national government can do anything, can do nothing, right? So we see at last our prime duty, and thus we end our today's session here. Thank you so much, all of you, to joining us today evening session, and so patiently, say so much with great patience, hearing me for almost 1 hour gets over. So if you have any question, any query, I request all of you, please write in the WhatsApp group. Please write down in the WhatsApp group, and also please write down in the WhatsApp group that what 3 things you like the most. What 3 things you like the most. No, so that also you can write down in the WhatsApp group. So I'm just going to change the setting right there. So I just change the setting now. So all of you can go in the WhatsApp group and you can write down your takeaway points, whatever you feel like was the best thing what I could get from this session. And also I'll tell you, after this Mantra of Life session, Mantra of Life course, of course you are going to get certificate, and we have advanced course, the level 2 course, that will follow subsequent after this session gets over in subsequent weeks. And there you will find the real practical application of what we are actually discussing. Then you will find yourself really getting this all wonderful benefits of this all knowledge, when you will see and you will put in your lives this all wonderful teachings in a practical way. So that will be a very wonderful experience also for all of us. So I request all of you, if you have any question, anything, you can go ahead in the WhatsApp group, Mantra of Life English group, and you can write down your all takeaway points as well as whatever questions you have. I will be more than happy to answer them all. Yes. And if you have any concern, any query other than for this particular session, like how was your visual and audio, everything fine or not, you can write down also here. So next session will be on Sunday, I mean just tomorrow. Next session will be from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday, tomorrow there will be session, and that will be last session of Mantra of Life level 1. Yeah, so now I'm going to also share with you all this quiz for today's. So this quiz will be shared with you right here only. It will not be shared in the WhatsApp group. So I request all of you, please go ahead and please attempt these questions. There are some number of questions, some few number of questions. So very soon you will be able to do that. So here it goes to all of you, the quiz link. And yeah, so you can right now you can go ahead and proceed with filling the name and the city and whatever entries are there. And somebody also can confirm me that whether you are able to open this link or not. If you are able to open this link and put your entries, then please let me know by writing in the chat box. Okay, then I will confirm that yeah, you are able to get it. Yes. Hopefully all of you have got access of this link. Till now I didn't get any response. Somebody of you can put there that you are able to open this link, WhatsApp link, I mean this Google form link for the quiz. And I request, please proceed ahead for filling that quiz, attempting that quiz. Okay, so thank you so much all of you. Once again, good night. Hare Krishna. Meeting you again tomorrow 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you so much.